Imagine, it's the year 2006 and you're a small, impressionable child who's super into this small thing known as Pokemon. You play all the games, you watch all the episodes from the anime, you collect the cards even though you don't know how to play the card game, and you think you've seen it all until a certain commercial comes on one day.
Whoa. Whoa!
Come on! We got rescuing to do!
And things would never be the same. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. The start of a series that I would hold close to my heart, for better or worse. Developed by Chunsoft back before they merged with Spike to form the current company, Spike Chunsoft, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is not only a spin-off of the Pokemon series, but it's also part of a bigger series of Mystery Dungeon games that include the likes of the Dragon Quest franchise, Final Fantasy franchise, or even the F3 and Odyssey franchise. Spike Chunsoft also has their own original series that uses the Mystery Dungeon formula with Sheeran the Wanderer. And while there's more to the Mystery Dungeon games than Pokemon, it's safe to say that the Pokemon ones are most well known outside Japan. Compared to the main series, I would say Pokemon Mystery Dungeon's biggest draw is being able to play as a Pokemon rather than just catching them. Like, the idea alone just blew my tiny mind that you could be one rather than catch one. And I will admit that Pokemon Mystery Dungeon gave me a bit of an unhealthy obsession with it back when I was a kid. Like, to the point where I tried to make a script for a crappy play that I did in front of my 5th grade class, or dreams about how I could become a Pokemon. With the most vivid dream I remember, involving me having to get a torn snack ticket and throw it under the stairs of my house, and have the local Mexican kid make a plate of steak fries and have a Gardevoir deliver them to me. Of course, the biggest problem in that plan is that I couldn't get the Mexican kid to make any steak fries for me, and the fact that Gardevoir doesn't exist. It's safe to say I wasn't the only one that was hooked to these games, because various sequels popped up over the years, along with a remake of Red and Blue Rescue Team. Now, I will try to give a relatively decent summary of the plot, so excuse me if it sounds a little bit messy and I don't go over every little thing. It's not a complicated story. And just to clarify, we'll be looking over the Blue Rescue Team version, since the only difference between Red and Blue are the sound quality and the Blue's use of dual screens on the DS. Your adventure starts off with you being woken up in the woods by some Pokemon. You have amnesia, and the only thing you can remember is your name and that you were once human. One thing leads to another, and you end up forming a rescue team with the Pokemon you just met, and you become good friends. Shortly after starting the rescue team, you start having these strange dreams involving this Pokemon named Gardevoir. Between the dreams and rescuing Pokemon, you eventually come to blows with this rescue team called Team Meanies, led by this Pokemon named Gengar, and he has a rather large chip on his shoulder in regards to you. He eventually learns that you were once human when you go to find answers of how you became a Pokemon, and he uses an old legend to accuse you of being the one that's upsetting the balance of the world and causing all the natural disasters, which is apparently enough to convince most of the town to run you and your partner out of town and hunt you down like fugitives, forcing you to find the truth while running for your lives. After basically being chased through volcanoes and frozen forest, you eventually stumble across Ninetales, the Pokemon who's heavily involved in the legend you're accused of, and it clears your name of being part of the legend, saying it's another human instead. And with your name cleared, you return to town and basically pull a reverse Uno card on Gengar and have him run out of town for tricking everyone. After you settle back down and do some rescue missions, you start having those dreams again and eventually learn of your purpose for becoming a Pokemon and coming to the Pokemon world, and that your role is soon coming to an end. After you deal with the cause of various earthquakes going on, you aren't given very much time to breathe until you're notified of a new disaster that's coming. A shooting star that's on a collision impact with the world that threatens all life as you know it. You and your partner are tasked with enlisting the aid of Rayquaza, a Pokemon who resides far in the sky and is deemed capable enough to destroy the shooting star. With the use of a teleport gem, you and your partner are transported to the lands in the sky and confront Rayquaza, who is unwilling to listen to why you're there until after you give him a beatdown. With some sense knocked back into him, he uses his Hyper Beam to destroy the shooting star. You survive the blowback of the blast thanks to the unlikely help of Gengar. And it was this part of the game that got me back when I was a kid. The first time I can remember ever crying to a video game. It's the fact that I had no choice in the matter, and all the friends that I made along the way breaking down, along with the music that accompanied it all, had me in shambles. Honestly, the music got to me so much that there was a point my mind just keeps associating it with any time that I'm just sad about something. That's just how hard the whole thing hit me. Though because this is a Pokemon game, you're not exactly allowed to be sad for very long. Since after the credits, because of the whole magic of friendship and love, you return back to the world of Pokemon. While it certainly made me happy as a kid, when I look back on it, it feels like it kinda cheapens the ending a bit. Of course, maybe I'm the clown for crying at the end of a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game still. So what do I know? Now there is some post-game story bits involving Gengar, but I've rambled on about the story long enough. Now it's time to dig into the meat and potatoes of the game. Before you truly start playing the game, you're treated to a personality quiz. How you answer the questions determines what Pokemon you'll be for the entire game. You can definitely cheat the system if you get a Pokemon you don't like by restarting. It's also at this point you can choose your partner Pokemon. And trust me whenever I say this, that it matters a lot what you and your partner start out as. It's the difference between a relatively decent challenge or your own personal slice of hell. Like, Cyndaquil and Pikachu cover most of the bases for me, barring one dungeon in the main story, but please spare yourself the headache of doing this. The majority of your time playing will be spent exploring these randomly generated dungeons to either get to the end of the dungeon or to complete requests you get from the mail or from the developer post office billboard. You earn rescue points for completing requests, which in turn raises your rescue rank. The higher your rescue rank, the higher your chances are of being able to recruit Pokemon in dungeons. And you're going to need all the help you can get because it's a total dice roll whether you can be able to recruit a Pokemon or not. You also need to make sure you have the appropriate friend area in order to recruit a Pokemon, and most friend areas can only be purchased at Wigglytuff's shop. Movement in dungeons is grid-based. Anytime you move, attack, drop an item, another Pokemon in the dungeon will either move, attack, or etc. A host of different items can be found throughout dungeons or be bought at the Kecleon shop in town. Things like apples and gummies will be used to keep you full as you go through dungeons, with gummies giving you more IQ whenever you eat them. And having a high IQ offers a range of benefits like being able to resist going to sleep, or you just be so big brain that you can just ignore all terrain and dig straight through walls without having to worry about dungeon layouts. Other items you can get is stuff like berries, which heal your health or heal yourself of status effects that you would have. There's a variety of seeds with various effects, such as warping you to a random place in the dungeon or reviving you at the point when you die. There's even items like spikes or gravel rock that can be used to damage Pokemon in case you don't want to use any of your moves. There's even orbs that provide a lot of useful effects like warping all the enemies in a room to somewhere else on the floor, or being able to escape in the middle of a dungeon. There's a few features that are left out until the post-game, with stuff like evolution or who you want to make the leader of your party as. Since post-game dungeons are going to be a lot harder, you might need to be bulked up a little bit or just have an entirely different Pokemon as the lead. Now, despite the mixed reviews, Pokemon Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team would go on to sell nearly 6 million copies worldwide, and would stand out and solidify itself as a really good Pokemon spin-off series. After all this time since playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I like to think that it had a really big impact on what games I've played since then. Like, I don't only look out for games I think would just be fun to play, but games I think that could elicit some kind of really big emotional response to me, whether it's something like suspense or maybe even sadness. You know, like games with a good story to tell or aren't afraid to make you cry sometimes. And with that ends the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.